The following is a conversation with Matty Geiger. Matty is a Jiu-Jitsu purple belt, a musician, and an amateur chess competitor. The former preamble is inspired by none other than the great and powerful Lex Friedman. To honor Lex and to foreshadow Matty and I's conversation a bit, I'm going to read a quote from The Art of War. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the No Credentials Podcast, and to support it, we've got our first official sponsor. Please check out the link below to a discount code to also great and powerful Anthony Burchak seminar coming into the Phoenix area. He will be hosting a jiu-jitsu seminar at Impact Jiu-Jitsu on June 24th at 6 p.m. Use the code NOCRED20 for 20% off your sign-up fee. Let's fucking go. Ladies and gentlemen, Matty Geiger.
You know Shaq? Shaq paints his toenails. Or goes,
Really?
yeah, he goes and gets his toenails painted and loves the sparkle.
Yeah.
I heard him in an interview one time. He's like, I'll pay them extra because I know my feet are nasty. And
Yeah,
like, I get, what'd you say?
He says he pays him like $1,000.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because of how nasty his feet are.
I think my gain's good, yeah? I
Yeah.
think,
What's gain mean?
Like your noise level, I think.
Are you a musician?
Yeah, I've been making music, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Like, what do you play something or?
I just make like beats on my laptop, and then I'm like learning to sing as well.
Okay.
But super inspired by like Eddie, and then some guys my
Bravo?
age. Yeah.
Eddie Bravo?
Yeah. Some guys my age.
No
making
offense,
music.
but I think there's better musicians you could be inspired by.
Well, but like
No
not
hate on Eddie. I love people
Yeah.
pursuing what you love, but he's really good at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but
Debatable on the music.
for me, it's like being able to meet someone in person who is also so passionate at music. There are a lot of people that make amazing music, but like you don't get to meet them. And I think like meeting someone like Eddie or like some of my friends who make music and have really showed me like how to make music, like who I think are some of the coolest people. That's been really like inspiring.
That is cool.
Yeah.
You know what I like is just people like sort of leaning into their passions more,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, I was thinking about this because like with jiu-jitsu, we get into the competitive circuit, and it's like, I like this quote from Michael Malice, that not everyone has the capability to be the best in the world, but everyone has the ability to be better at something. And so it's like not everyone needs to be the best, but if you pursue what you like, then I think that's amazing. And I don't know what more you could do, like if you're doing what you like.
For sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and just the pursuit of better in general. I think that's one thing that like jiu-jitsu has helped me a lot with, is that like when I'm sticking good to jiu-jitsu and I'm like trying my best, it like has this ripple effect throughout the rest of my life, that like if I'm trying my best in jiu-jitsu, I'm keeping my diet clean, I'm not drinking on the weekends, I'm doing just an overall healthy lifestyle, which has it makes me like wake up earlier to go to work. I'm like, more on point at work. Like everything in my whole life just seems to do better when I'm doing better at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I
guess I want to ask if we're recording. Are we on?
Oh yeah, we just
Okay,
started.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I was in Spain back in like late October, early November with Manu, who runs 10th Planet Barcelona.
Yeah.
And he was like when I left, he's like, train every day. And at that time I was very like wavering, I guess, with my training and jiu-jitsu, but like trying to just like make that decision to train every day. And even, I don't know if you know Donna Gonzalez, but she's a 10th Planet OG. She's like, jiu-jitsu is my church. And like, it's not if I'm going to jiu-jitsu today, it's when I'm going to jiu-jitsu today. And when you have that different, like, I guess, perspective, or I don't know what that is, that energy, then it totally changes like your character and like what you're gonna do with yourself and your life.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome. And
Yeah. Wow. So you met, that was in Spain? You met
Yeah.
them?
Yeah,
Are they all 10th Planet people as well?
At 10th Planet Barcelona.
Wow.
Yeah, so I
Barcelona.
I lived in Madrid for like 10 months and
Really?
then visited Barcelona a few times.
Just studying abroad?
Yeah, I was working on my master's in economics. I'm like an econ nerd, if you will. But got to go to Barcelona a few times and hang out with them and meet Manu and yeah. And but I guess I'll just mention that like I started at 10th Planet Pasadena and now I'm training at 10th Planet Scottsdale.
Hell yeah.
Shout out
Pasadena. Yeah, Steele's the man. He came on here just a little bit ago.
Yeah, I love Steele.
He's a
Steele's
great
awesome.
guy. And Pasadena, that's where you said you were training with PJ originally?
Well, PJ's in San Diego, but originally with Ramey and Campella at 10th Planet Pasadena. And Ramey just opened 10th Planet Thousand Oaks. But yeah, they were both teaching there, and that's where I started. And Donna was teaching there. And then Donna went to San Diego to teach with PJ, so I would visit them on occasion.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Wow. The 10th Planet squad is all over.
10th Planet is worldwide.
Yeah, it really is. In Barcelona, too.
Yeah.
He's got, what, like over 100 schools now or something?
Yeah, I think over like 120,
Wow.
like all over. It's really cool.
That is really cool.
Because I think with 10th Planet, you know, everyone in 10th Planet is really cool. Like the community is, for the most part, super sick. I really haven't had any interactions that I can recall with people in 10th Planet that were just like bad. Like, which is cool. And I wish, because I really don't know if that's the broader jiu-jitsu community, but I feel like for the most part it is. And I think that's just,
outside of 10th Planet as well, like most people are cool.
Yeah.
That's been my experience.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think there's some dicks like around,
Of
but I
course.
think that's just like, as far as general population, there's a lot of dicks in the population, you know? So,
Yeah.
or just people who are, you know, assholes. So, but in general, most of the people I meet in jiu-jitsu are pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I think it's like that natural filtering mechanism of just like, if you're gonna be an ego and a douche, then like, let's put you against someone who's really good at jiu-jitsu and can I curse?
Yeah, well, for sure.
And someone who can fuck you up. And like, how are you gonna deal with that? And that in itself, I think naturally, like a lot of people talk about like how it helps your ego. It helps cleanse it because like, I don't know, in this age of like some narcissism that we live in, things like jiu-jitsu really bring you back to like reality and like your limitations as a human, and also your I guess potential to grow as a human being,
for sure.
because no one's complete.
No,
right?
not at all. Yeah, and I think a lot of guys walk around with like just this sort of unearned bravado where they're like, yeah, if it came down to it, I could fuck someone up. And then they like walk into their first jiu-jitsu class and just get fucking smoked by someone 30 pounds lighter than them, 100 pounds lighter than them, much smaller, you know, and then they're like, oh, fuck, wow, this isn't what I thought it was.
Yeah. I mean, I forget who said this, but jiu-jitsu is a language. That's why like a smaller opponent, like a young girl, can beat up a much larger man in like self-defense, not because they're bigger and stronger. They're literally not.
Yeah.
But because they know the technique and the language of jiu-jitsu and how to apply it, like the bodily technique of it and its application. And I think where that applies to life is like just understanding that everything can be broken down to like a language. And if you're willing to put in the time to learn a language and knowing that like, yeah, you're not going to be fluent. Everyone's born a white belt. You're not going to be fluent the first time you start. But if you persist and continue to learn, then like you're in time, you're going to be so much better.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a really cool comparison, like relating it to a language, because it's just as fucking difficult to learn a whole new language as it is learning jiu-jitsu. And like I've heard of people like compare the belts to like, at first you're learning like the alphabet, and then you like learn words, and then you're putting words together in sentences, and then you're, you know, writing paragraphs, and then eventually you're doing poetry. You know, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I think for me what's been really cool is like I started working on making music after I started jiu-jitsu. And I approached music production as also like learning a language, I guess. And so just approaching in that way has been, you know, at times it gets really frustrating, but like it's like I don't know.
It's just because you're a white belt at it. You gotta just keep at it.
Yeah.
Or maybe a blue belt now.
Exactly. Right. And I think that's just the best way to go about it. And and I guess having some enthusiasm and positivity with whatever you do is
Yeah.
really gonna help.
For sure. What's his name? I forget it. It's this guy that wrote the book called The Art of Learning. He was like a chess master at like 12 years old, and he talks about like the two different types of how people learn. Like there's people who take I forget how he breaks it down, but it's like the work approach where my value at it is directly proportionate to how much work I've put into it. And then there's other people who are like, either I'm naturally talented or I'm not. So they'll like give people problems, and it's like if I forget how he relates it, but it's basically like the more effort you put in, the better you'll be. And if you look at it at like something that you suck, not because you suck, it's because you just haven't put much effort in towards it. You know, that it's a better outlook than thinking like, oh, I'm bad at this, it's because I'm not good. It's because you just haven't done much work towards that.
Yeah. Also, you got me thinking, because I do like, I guess, philosophy and like jiu-jitsu's application to the philosophy of life. And something I find interesting is like how brutal jiu-jitsu can be, in the sense that we're like practicing breaking limbs and like tearing ligaments and
simulating
murder, immobilizing, paralyzing people. It's quite brutal, and it really, like, I think when you tap, you kind of confront your mortality a little bit. And I think that maybe helps people just like have like a breath of fresh air of like, I don't know. I kind of want to like dive deep into that. I like I like the macabre, I guess.
The macabre?
The darker stuff. Like,
what's macabre mean?
Macabre is like dark, like, I hope it doesn't have like a negative connotation, but I read this good book by one of the co-founders of The Cure. It's called Goth. So I've been like kind of like inspired by Goth as like a movement of freedom, almost in an aesthetic and cultural sense. Of like, and I think in a sense like jiu-jitsu, even within 10th Planet too, like Eddie and his aesthetic, his music, he kind of discusses that. And Eddie said like, Eddie said that like if you're on the jiu-jitsu journey, you're also on the music making journey, which like never clicked until like I guess I started working on music. But my music is kind of like dark, I guess, and for whatever reason. But
maybe it's just that part of yourself that you like need to express.
I think so.
Yeah, like who's it? Like Carl Jung, I think, talks about shadow work a lot. You know, that like every person has this like good and evil in them, and like the people who only pretend that they're just as good have this evil that's building up that like comes out in these really weird ways. You know, like either you're just like all of a sudden you snap on people, or like you look at down towards other people, or like not leaning into the parts of you that are like mean and bad and angry and stuff. If you can neglect it completely, it like festers inside you and manifests in really weird ways.
Like Jung and Freud has said that like when you repress something like your emotions, it doesn't go away. It comes back up in a nastier form. And I've definitely noticed when I take time from jiu-jitsu, I'm just like my energy is just worse. I'm more like quick to be reactive.
Snap at people.
A little bit.
I'll choke you out, motherfucker, right now.
Well,
it's been a while.
It's
been like 4 days since I strangled a person.
But then like jiu-jitsu, if you put all that energy into like trying to like physically actually tap someone, like that could be looked at as so evil out of context. You become like, I become like more kind. Like my energy is just better.
I think it's like part of it's like a misunderstanding from people who have never done it. They think it's just a bunch of meatheads going in there fucking attacking each other and being like, fuck yeah. And then you go in and it's really there's like so much science towards it, like so much like study towards it. Like it takes so long to get good and actually like hit any submission that it's not like a meathead sport at all. Like you actually have to learn a lot. And I think that like I taught kids for a while too, and like one of the things that was like most interesting to me was that the girls are often like so much better than the boys, because the boys are just like fucking wild and rambunctious and not listening at all, and the girls are listening to the technique you teach them, and at that size they're like about the same strength, and they would fucking whoop on the boys, because they're listening to the technique, they're actually applying it, and then they're doing better jiu-jitsu.
I think like I did karate as a kid, and then I played baseball for a while, and then I got back into jiu-jitsu. I started when I was like 21.
You started jiu-jitsu when you were 21?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 26.
Okay.
So about 5 years. But
You've been training consistently this time?
pretty much for the most part. But my dad is like, wow, like I wish I kept you in like martial arts. But I think as a kid, like I would maybe be in a different position than I am now, because all my life I've like learned to, I guess, create who I am and like what kind of student I am too. And for me, jiu-jitsu has become much more of like a meditation for me. Like where it's like I'm going there to try to like release that part of me, I guess.
Yeah.
Through this practice. Like yoga is like, you know, like hot yoga is intense.
Yeah.
You're like sweating, you're trying to push yourself. Like for me, it's very much like akin to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a cool part of yoga. Like when I got back into it deeper, like one thing I realized is that they use a lot of the same words that we do with jiu-jitsu. They call it training. They, you know, like it's like a practice, and it's cool in that way. And it's like when you very first start too, it's kind of similar. You're trying to like muscle something and just fucking hold the pose as hard as you can. And the more you like lean into it, it's like you just practice that technique and you have to like relax through the poses.
Yeah. So I'll mention this. When I was in Madrid, I remember like I didn't have jiu-jitsu. I really like wasn't training much like for that time I was there. But Ben Eddy mentioned like yoga's good. Ashtanga yoga is really good.
What's Ashtanga?
Ashtanga is a type of yoga that is essentially one full. I don't want to like miscredit. Yeah, but it's basically
she's a yogi over there too.
it's like one practice, and then this practice is broken down into like 3 sections, and there's like 4 moves, or I don't know how many moves per section, and you go through this routine, and it's all coordinated off your inhales and exhales, and so you're moving in that sequence for the Ashtanga practice. And so right next to me, like literally 2 doors down from where I was living, was like an Ashtanga studio, and I met this great Ashtanga teacher, and when I went back last year, I like got to attend his class, but shout out Fidel.
But Fidel's a yoga teacher?
Yeah. and the practice was it was great. It really, really opens you to life that
is
similar
it like a
to
slower
jiu-jitsu.
practice?
No. It's like
faster?
It's a vigorous practice. It's like a hard practice. Ashtanga is, I think it translates to the 8 limbs of yoga.
Please elaborate.
Okay, so I looked it up.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Should I just like chime in?
Yeah, just chime in. You're Jamie. This is our Jamie.
Hello, everybody. I am Jamie, aka Taylor. So Ashta refers to the number 8, while Anga means limbs or body parts. So it's the union of the 8 limbs of yoga into one complete holistic system. And it's a very vigorous, hard practice.
So like every movement is like your breath. Like inhale, do this. Exhale, do this. Inhale, do this.
A lot of yoga is like that, or yoga practices try to connect breath to movement. But it says Ashtanga centers on a vigorous physical practice that includes a series of poses linked together with breath to form a continuous sequence. And so it is like the same sequence. Like I remember when Ashtanga was one of the forms of yoga that I learned when I was in India. And so you do the same thing every day. Like every day we started with the same Ashtanga sequence and stuff. It's actually a really cool practice. And there's a studio here, or a school here, that you can go and
does it as well?
Yeah, does it, and it's really cool. It's a really good way to
Nice.
like
Kind of
dive
similar
into
to
it.
like the 26 and 2, like always the same sequence of poses.
I'm not familiar with that, but
That's like Bikram's thing, is the 26 and 2.
yeah, probably it's like that. But what I wanted to also mention was like with my music, like how you said, it kind of just clicked for me that like, yeah, like it is like a release, and I'm like, how the heck do I have that like inside of me? You know what I mean? Like I really like to write in my notebooks, but like you can just like flow right, and I don't know, you just kind of like vomit, you word vomit,
Yeah.
and you're just like, wow, like you can like put so much out there, and it's really cool, and also to release it because like the whole thing with young,
Yeah.
you want to have your outlets, and jiu-jitsu, I think for many people, that's
Can
why
be
a lot
that
of
outlet.
people, yeah, that's why a lot of people recommend it as like a therapeutic thing,
For sure.
as an outlet.
Yeah, note taking or like journaling can be very cathartic as well. Like usually I'm like I have a notebook that I've kept since I was about like 20 years old, and it's like I don't write that much because it's not a huge notebook. But like it basically in my life, anytime I've had like periods of extreme stress, I'll write in there, and it feels so good to like put all my thoughts into paper and just sort of get it out. And it's been an incredible gift to myself too, because it's like I was going through all these things when I was young and like not sure, what was going to happen. And then reading my own thoughts from my perspective at this time is like a fucking peek into 10 years ago or whenever, that like exactly as I was thinking it at the time. And so it's been such a great gift to myself, just like keeping that. But it feels so good just getting it out. I mean, I think one of the reasons is because like you were going through all these emotions in your head and like you're thinking like, oh, fuck, this is going bad or this is whatever. And I feel like you almost make like mental leaps in your own head without combining like coherent thoughts. And so when you write it down, it's like it forces you to think out the entire thought of like, okay, this is exactly what's happening, and put it in a fucking sentence. And like most of the time, for me at least, like when I'll do this, I'm like, okay, I'm just being a fucking pussy right now. Like it's not that serious. Like, okay, I feel bad, but whatever, but it's not that big a deal. And I don't know, getting it out is like what's helped that.
Yeah. Yeah, you really get to like clarify your thought process, or at least observe it of how am I thinking, and like I think really reflected in your writing. Like, does this make sense, or am I just like that? Have that many thoughts going through, and it's just like mixed up. But I think the more you write, you're just like really like solidifying kind of your thought process, and you're able to like externalize everything and get it on paper so you can like look at it, even just like. I like the old school planner where you like write it down, just like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. Oh, that's good too. Just like planning out the day. Yeah, I try to make a list of shit that I got to knock out today every time I get at work, and then fucking cross that stuff off. Feels good, just like having a whole list and crossing it off.
Yeah, even for jiu-jitsu, like I don't. I feel like this is kind of backwards. A lot of people are like, I like to roll. At this point, I'm like, I don't really like to roll. I like to go to class and like take the lesson, because I'm putting all my energy into just focusing on like improving. Like I just want to get better, and like I think really understanding the concepts of a technique help you improve more than just sometimes rolling does, I think. But now, like, I don't know, I've been
both are super important.
Of course,
it's really important, especially I think the more advanced you get. Like once you get around like purple belt or so, you have a few moves that you're actually really good at, you can hit like pretty regularly. It's important to understand that class is about skill development. And that you're trying to build and get better at particular things. And it takes like a really tempered focus on like, okay, I'm trying to get better, rather than just showing up and thinking you're going to get better just by showing up. Like early that does happen because you're just so fucking unexperienced that like you're just going to naturally get better the more reps you get at something. But like once you're pretty good at something, it takes a more like detailed approach of like how I'm exactly going to get better. A lot of guys just show up and fucking bohada for an hour and a half, just fucking explode their brains out, and then like they got a good workout, but did they like get better at all?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I had a day where I did a roll and then took a roll off, and did a roll and took a roll off, and in between those rolls and that downtime, I was just like in my mind reflecting on how that previous roll went and what I did well, what I missed, what I can improve on, and that I really enjoyed, and I felt like I made like more progress than if I just would have like kept continuously rolling without ever getting to like analyze what I just did. But whenever I've been like injured, I really don't mind still coming to class just to like take notes, because I do like taking notes.
That is good.
Yeah, and I remember like back in Pasadena, because I was like lived much closer when I was a student, but I would just show up and just take notes, and like I freaking like would diagram and like had like a whole journal of notes, and it was really cool. like the aesthetics of notes, I like that too. So.
That's really good. That's something I've never done. We've got a guy that I train with that his name's Ben Anderson. He had a fucking Bible of jiu-jitsu notes for a while. And it unfortunately got stolen because he was like, yeah, he's a musician as well. He like goes on tour and stuff. And when someone stole his backpack, they like raided his bus and fucking stole it. But yeah, something that I probably could do better. You know what I was thinking about? So you said you were in Barcelona and like in Spain and stuff. Do you know why people like pronounce certain cities with a lisp?
I heard it was because there was a king of Spain who had a lisp and he didn't want to sound weird, so he made everyone speak with a lisp.
Yeah, right? That's what I've heard too. How fucking crazy. Ibiza and everything too. How wild that one person can have an impact on that. Like,
yeah, is it true?
That's what I've heard as well. I don't know if it's true. Jamie, do you know?
I'm going to look it up. Okay. I don't know what happened to this, by the way.
Oh, sorry. You probably got to tighten it. Right here. Is that better?
Okay, yeah.
All right.
It just like slowly started falling.
Yeah.
I remember when we did an interview for the Butter Smooth competition.
Yeah. Thank you for competing, by the way.
Well, thank you for having me. I think I mentioned this, but I'm not sure if I did. But, you know, in the Spanish language, martial arts is pronounced artes marciales. And so the word is literally art, the adjective before the noun. And so it's art and then marciales, which is martial. So it's like, for me, the way I look at that is like art comes before the war. And so that's how I try to like approach my jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
This is an art and I'm going to do my best at trying to like demonstrate this technique in our artistic sense. And then like if I need to battle it out, then we'll go into a war. But I don't start with like I'm trying to pohada and go to war first and then hopefully make something artistic on top of that. That's kind of how I try to approach it.
Wow, that's a good thought. You did mention that you try to put the art before war.
Yeah.
Although I think as far as the Spanish language, I think that's just how the language is designed, that they put the adjective before the noun, or vice versa. Like if you said green table, I think it'd be like Mesa Verde or something.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be like table green. But it's a good thing to like interpret it that way.
Yeah, I think I got that mixed up. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's too literal, but for me, I really do enjoy that perspective on jiu-jitsu. And I feel like that's something that I've discovered for myself.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how like one of my coaches, Campella, would say like the way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do you, oh my gosh, like, okay, so I remember just for fun, I signed up for a chess competition a couple years ago.
Wow.
And
what's your ELO?
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, you're not good?
I don't know. It was just like an open competition.
Okay, huh?
My ELO, is that like my online score?
Yes.
I don't know what that,
really?
I don't know what my score is.
Oh, wow. You just signed up total white belt.
Yeah.
Like first day, like never been to a jiu-jitsu class, signs up for a competition.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was just playing
Equivalent.
chess with like my friends and stuff like that, and we would have a good time.
Yeah.
But like I wanted to do a chess, because like this was a few years ago. So I've been doing like jiu-jitsu competitions, but I wanted to try a chess competition. And there were a few things I learned from it. But one of the things that I thought was really cool was like playing chess with someone in person is different than online, because in person, I can see how you move a piece.
Yeah.
I can see like what your energy is in moving that. Like what's your confidence? Or are you faking the confidence? Or are you timid? Are you second guessing it? And like Crone Gracie, who I like a lot, has said like, if I roll with you in jiu-jitsu, I can tell you all about yourself.
Who you are, yeah.
And who you are. And like how you handle defeat, how you handle adversity, how you handle winning.
Yeah.
And in that chess comp, like I really got to like
Felt that as well?
I felt that, yeah. Like
that is interesting.
I got to learn about people through that situation, which was really cool from that competitive
That is funny, you know, because me and her will play chess also, and like occasionally she'll want to like sit outside while we do it, so we're actually not next to each other, because like she'll make a move and they'll be like fuck, and not want to know that like it was actually a mistake. And then like sometimes you don't pick up on mistakes immediately too, you know, you think that like they moved and they actually just opened up a window for the queen or something, you know, like you can recapture. So doing it in person, like you do see a lot of that. It's
Yeah.
interesting. And I think especially at the highest level of chess too, there's so much of like the interaction between people. So are you a fan of chess?
I mean, yeah, I don't really watch it, but I'm a fan of it. Yeah.
Well, like, so Magnus Carlsen, who's like the highest rated ELO ever in history and like considered probably the best in the world right now. I think not even probably, I think he's considered the best in the world. He'll often show up to matches, like if it's a 3-minute match, which is not very much time, he'll show up with a minute 20 seconds left on his side. So he comes in, and then there's almost no time left for him to complete a chess match against a grandmaster, also one of the best people in the world, top 1% of 1% of 1%. And he sits down, and there's, say 130 seconds left on the clock halfway through, and he just starts adjusting the pieces, making sure that they're perfectly in the center of each of the squares. And then so waste another 10 seconds doing this, and then makes his first move. And then the guy is like, are you fucking kidding me? He can beat every single person that he knows, but now he's going against the best of the best, and he's fucking stunting on him before the game even starts.
Wow. But like he wins, I assume?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he just like knows where to move?
Yes.
I gotta watch his matches.
Oh, he's pretty good. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. He's really good. Yeah, well, so the one that in this case, he's done it a number of times. Like often it'll be more than 3 minutes, but 3 minutes is like a blitz considered. I think 5 minute, anything 5 or less is a blitz style. There's different types of time limits that can be on a chess match, and actually, I think there's some that could be up to like an hour per move. So some chess matches can last like a full day or so. Yeah, it's crazy. That guy that wrote The Art of Learning talked about it.
So his name is Josh Waitzkins.
Oh, yeah.
Watkins or something like that.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah.
Not a very good Jamie. I'm practicing, guys. I'm learning.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, Josh Watskin or Waitkin or whatever.
Waitkin.
Yeah, he's also a jiu-jitsu black belt too, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, from Marcelo Garcia. He like was this
Damn.
chess champion at a young age, and then like got into jiu-jitsu and got his black belt in like 3 years or something.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he has this whole thing about the art of learning. But but my point though was that in that particular match, I think he's done it a number of times, but in this particular match, his opponent actually let his clock wind down too, so that they were at an even level.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but
funny.
Magnus ended up winning.
I think what's cool, I guess, to me, what I'm picking up on is like, the best in the world, they're playing the same pieces on the same board. And in jiu-jitsu, we're all playing the same pieces in a sense. But like, I guess what I mean is like for Josh or someone like that, it's like, do you really, are you utilizing this move to the best of its ability? Do you have the best counter and follow up to this move in this situation?
Yeah.
And I think the people who like the black belts and people with like that high knowledge of jiu-jitsu literacy are able to be like basically just, I guess, continuously so fluidly string together these like counters and counters on top of counters until like they get what they want.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I mean, one of the big differences is there is a lot more fluidity in jiu-jitsu than chess. Like chess is very
Definitely.
your move, my move, your move, my move.
Yeah.
In jiu-jitsu, it's this like dynamic, never-ending like exchange of like maybe I get 2 moves in a row, and then you've got to like come back and yeah.
Oh, jiu-jitsu is definitely more dynamic, and I don't know. It's just like so beautiful too, because like it's also like a movement practice, and like I've been trying to watch like more like movement type people and videos online, and I think that like it would insanely help anyone's jiu-jitsu to also be like a master of one's own movement. I've been trying to like climb a little bit, and climbing's
that's really cool.
amazing because you practice like your body tension, your control. You also develop like insane grip strength. Like I've heard of people saying like there's like nightmares and horror stories of climbers coming into a jiu-jitsu gym, but they just don't know any technique, but they have like a death grip
strength. Yeah.
And it's like, wow, like if and some of the best people, like if they like I know Elijah Carlton said he used to climb, and like I think Kyle Bain too, like a lot of people probably
Kyle
that I don't even know. would climb and then like go to jiu-jitsu, but I kind of lost. Oh, the movement and the body tension.
Yeah.
Like if you can, jiu-jitsu for me is like if I can just master getting my body to do what I want it to do, then I'll have more success.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like part of like the strength training and like, I guess, discipline or whatnot of like being able to like do the things that you want to do. And how do you get there?
Yeah.
What's it going to take? And it's obviously going to take like strength development that you're not going to entirely develop purely through jiu-jitsu. So like thankfully like 10th Planet Scottsdale, we just moved upstairs and Steele and Mandy made an amazing upgrade to the place, but they're able to put like a gym area in there.
Oh, nice.
And a recovery room. And so like now I'm like trying to like hit the gym either before or after like training, and
Awesome.
I just feel so much better. Like it makes me go home like more hungry, and I'm like able to like just, I don't know, the whole routine. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. Like we were saying, like jiu-jitsu just helps with the other aspects of your life.
For sure. You know what? Another thing that a good friend of mine, Patrick, says, this guy, Patrick Ortman, actually first official sponsor of the podcast. We'll do a shout out to him later. But he talks about, or he says like better has no end. So it's like, you know, you're doing jiu-jitsu a lot. It's like, okay, well, you could be also strength training too. It's like, okay, you're doing strength training a lot. Well, you could also be dialing your diet more. Okay, you're doing all this. Well, you could also be getting better sleep. Oh, you're doing all this. Okay, well, you could also be like studying the technique outside of it. Oh, you're doing all that. You know, like there's never an end to better. Either if you're trying to be better and better, like there's a million things to always pursue.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay, so this is cool because like for me, my economics, what I study is more like a philosophy. So like in this sense, it'd be like a trade-off or like, you know, making the cost benefit. Like as compared to what? Like I could be doing this and it's revealing my preferences that I'd rather do this than this at that specific moment. And so it's like, yeah, I could be training jiu-jitsu, or I could be working out, or I could be watching film, or anything anything in life. And I think that's really cool. Like my friend, shout out Angel, shout out Rude Club, Angel and Dash.
Rude Club?
Rude Club, yeah.
What is that?
Those are my bros. They are a music group, and they're one of the greatest groups. We actually have a song dropping next week.
You guys all do?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. So Angel.
What's it called?
It's called Disguise. It's coming out on Friday, the 17th.
Okay.
It's, yeah, my song featuring them.
This will probably come out like midweek or something.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
yeah. So it'll be out shortly. But Angel has really, and Dash, but they've just showed me so much music, like more than like anyone. And he's like, dude, like you know, it's hard to make beats too. Like, so I produce and I'm trying to make a beat and sometimes it just doesn't go. And it's like, well, you can like watch a tutorial, you can work on a music video, you can work on like an image, and like that, all that stuff is part of like music, but the music itself is like what jiu-jitsu is when you're rolling, or like, I guess if as a competitor, like when you're competing, you know what I mean? Like, does it really matter what you're doing if it's like, I mean, I get like, what's your goal, right? Like, it's different for a recreationalist and a competitor. Like, as a competitor, you want to like compete and you want to like, I guess, win or do well. And so it's like, then that moment matters. But if you're not a competitor, then it's like, it's about the training room, I guess. And it's not about the competition. So it's like, how are you in your training? And I don't know, it's like, that's like the never ending thing of like, you can always get better and improve, which is amazing.
But there's certain things that maybe have the best like cost benefit towards it.
I mean, I guess.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, I guess it's all subjective, like what you want to do. But it's like, yeah, it's like, are you actually making the cost to your means and ends? You know what I mean? Like, are your means the appropriate means to reach your desired ends?
Yeah.
Or are they going to take you in a different direction?
Yeah. It's like if you spend all your day just watching Danaher videos, but don't ever actually implement any of it, are you going to get better that way?
Yeah. And I don't know, like in some sense, I think there is like a lot that you can like improve upon watching Danaher videos.
I think action, there's nothing that replaces action though.
Yeah.
Because it's like, my little brother like watched UFC for years and like was deep into like jiu-jitsu, even like watched, matches so much like as far as like the spectator part of it, but then like and thought he'd be able to like, okay, I understand it a little bit, and then he gets into like, we go to an open mat, actually was his first introduction to jiu-jitsu ever, and he's like, oh, actually an armbar is way different than than it just looks like online.
Yeah.
It like takes an actual practice. I think basically with everything, I think actually action can replace most other things, even like almost like in any pursuit, if you're just trying to become a good worker, or like say like I'm in commercial real estate, like if you're trying to make a lot of money in it, you can be an absolute idiot, and you could be focused on like just learning more and trying to like work on yourself and become a better person and all this stuff that's all really important to being able to like effectively communicate to people and be of good service. But you can also be an absolute idiot and just an absolute dummy mouth breather, but just pick up the phone more than anyone else does, and that's gonna make you much better in a much shorter time than anything else. You're gonna fumble a lot at the beginning, but like the more you just actually make action towards what you're trying to pursue, that's like irreplaceable.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, you're right. Like on the mats, like can you just watch what an armbar looks like and repeat it? But like if you're just repeating on an uke with no resistance, you can do it. But like if you're rolling or if you're in a match, do you really know how to like finish an armbar?
Yeah, exactly. To someone who's not going to tap, like so you can extend the arm, but do you know how to break it too?
Right.
Yeah.
Like and that's a different feeling. Like this is something I still struggle with in the competitive circuit. And I don't know, like shout out Raimi, but he's like, you have to go in with the intent of breaking.
Yeah.
And I just like am not comfortable with that, because it's like I don't want someone to like try to hurt me.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, you can always tap,
Of course.
That's the thing. Brandon McCatherine, 10th Planet guy, has like a great way of putting it forward, is that competition is a test against each other, and it's an agreement between both people that we're going to keep ourselves safe. I'm going to keep myself safe. You're going to keep yourself safe. And if you're unwilling to keep yourself safe, then you're going to get broken. So obviously there are certain scenarios where it may be like the heel's there, grab, rip, to the ceiling, and then you're not even giving the person a chance to tap.
Yeah.
I think that is less common, though. I think in probably 95% of the instances, you have a chance to tap. You have a chance to keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
So I think it is important to actually go in with the intent to break your opponent, because there's plenty of times where you'll have the arm extended. You're like, oh, I don't want to break you. And then they fucking get out. And then they, come back. It's a competition.
Right.
You got to there's going to be a winner and a loser. You got to like go out there with the intent to make it happen.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
then for yourself, I know you say you don't want to get hurt, but it's like you have the chance to tap in most situations.
Yeah, that's true.
And also too, it's not knitting. There's a chance to get hurt, but we're attacking each other. That's gonna happen sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I guess I kind of tripped myself up, because like, I want it to be like something really cool, like the gentle art, as it's described. But then it's like last night I had a match, and like we banged knees on like the inside of my knee, and it's bruised and it hurts. And I'm like, oh yeah, that was a jiu-jitsu match. Like there's gonna be physical contact. It's a contact sport.
Yeah.
So I
think it's the gentle art when it's like a black belt versus a white belt. You can really like be really like not muscling anything, be really like relaxed with it, be really gentle with it, and really like work someone who has nothing to do or doesn't know what they're doing. But when it's two very skilled opponents, it's not too gentle.
Yeah. 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 I guess so. I just yeah, I don't know. I like that approach though, right? Of like aspiring to make your jiu-jitsu like the most gentle way possible.
Or maybe the most technical is the right way to look at it.
Yeah, the most like effective.
Yeah. Like you're just using proper technique for everything rather than trying to fucking muscle through everything or just, grit your way through moves.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a different style, but I don't know. Like I'm working on like the wrestling aspect too, which is really cool. It's really tough.
See, there's not the gentle art. You say anything gentle about wrestling, they'll be fucking pissed.
I mean, but that's the thing. It's like just because, right, they would be pissed if you approach wrestling from like this martial arts or gentle perspective. I mean, I don't know. Like I didn't have a wrestling background, but like I want to try to approach wrestling as a gentle art where it's just so smooth and like buttery, where it's just like that
Butter
to me is
smooth.
that to me is like a depiction of beautiful and great wrestling.
Yeah.
When it's not so like locked up, but like so fluid. And I think that's really cool too.
Maybe it's like it's almost like how we were talking about the balance of like your shadow and your light. You know, like maybe there is a necessity to have that grit and perseverance and nonstop go while also really focusing on the fluidity and like passive side of making things happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Jiu-Jitsu is so hard. And it's like you get tired and it's like in a competition, you don't want to give up, but your body is like so tired and like, it's just like, damn, like I wish I could just like, you want to keep going. I think as a competitor, for people watching too, it's like you kind of want to show your perseverance.
Also, too, you want to be like show the highest expression of yourself. You don't want to like put a bad show for yourself. You know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time it's like mental.
It's so much of it is mental. But I don't know. I feel like in life too, like, you know, it's like, I don't know. I'm kind of like lazy at times and then when it gets out in the match, I feel like it's really revealed. Like if you have a match or 2 or 3, you're so exhausted. And it's like, damn, like, am I like this exhausted or am I lazy? Like, what's my mind like? And then, I don't know, I feel like you can apply that outside of your competition. Where it's like, how am I going about my life in my day-to-day activities? And I'll say for me, like, I've noticed, like, I've just been trying to ask myself, like, if I gave a little bit more effort to this task, would it get done? And it's like, yeah. And it may be as simple as, like, just putting my dishes away or something like that. And I just...
Or adding something in your day-to-day routine that's going to help your... like cardio and not getting more tired.
Yeah. I don't know. I just find myself like battling with my own effort. And I think that's the beautiful thing about having like a community and friends that like share a practice or a goal, because they can like really help you and like push you to keep going. But when it's just like you, it's just like with other things, I don't know, I find myself just like just trying to like realizing I do have the energy, but I'm just not doing these things because I just, for whatever reason, am like just distracting myself and like not doing them and like putting it off and stuff like that. I don't know.
Maybe you got to just push through that, make yourself do stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's Andrew Huberman posted something recently that was talking about like there's this part of your brain that like gets activated when you do hard things or stuff that you don't want to do. And what's interesting is that like it has like it's like it has like plasticity, like it grows. The people who are like Iron Men and do like these big things regularly, it's bigger in those people's brains. And like maybe that's what it is. You just need to like lean into doing more hard stuff. Like I feel it as well. Just in the past year or two, I've felt like my cardio has gotten worse somehow. Even though my training has remained like pretty much consistent, like my cardio has just been like not good. And then this last competition that I did, I felt like I just gassed out completely. And so, unfortunately, I injured myself right after. But since being healthy, I've been trying to do, like, add more cardio stuff in. And I'll try to do the air bike, which, like, the assault bike, if you know what it is.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so fucking horrible. Like, it's awful. Like, I absolutely hate it. It's absolutely horrible. But I've been trying to do it every single day. And every single time I fucking, like, go, I just know I have to do it. I'm like, I really hate it. It's really horrible.
I think that's the best machine for like cardio you can find.
It probably is.
Me and Steele are trying to find one and get one for the gym. I think that'd be so sick. Because
we've got one at the gym now.
Nice.
We just try to pump that thing out. And then there's one at Mountainside Fitness too. They'll do.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I feel like right now where I'm at in my life, it's just trying to like do those things that I want to do and have to do. Like my professor, Darren Jurgen, said that like there's going to be things in life that you don't want to do, but you have to do. And finding those things, as mundane as they may be.
I think that's what life is totally like. There's a bunch of shit that you like maybe don't want to do, but you got to do. You know, like Marcus Aurelius talks about it in his meditations. Have you ever like read that?
Yeah.
Like where he talks like it's like this own mental battle in his own head of like, I got to go do work. It's like, but the fucking sheets are so warm. It's so nice in here. I just want to sit here. He's like, what about the birds and the bees? Do you think they like, they don't have any problem with going out and working? Like, and he's like, oh, but it's so nice in here. He's like, well, what were you made to do? Were you made to stay warm and comfortable in the sheets, or were you made to go out and work? And it's this really interesting argument within himself of like, I need to go do things, to make shit happen.
Yeah. I think for my self-esteem and my mood, just like doing the little things, getting outside and just cleaning up, it does make me like, I guess, create that snowball of like wanting to just like keep working on things. And I do feel my best when I'm actually on top of my shit and like getting things done and like doing my routine.
Yeah. The challenge is that it's never fucking ending.
Right.
It just never stops.
Yeah.
You can be really consistent for a week or a month or even a year or something, and then you stop and it goes away right away.
Yeah, it snowballs the other way too.
Yeah.
And that energy is like the tough cycle when you're like in that like downturn of like not being super productive, your energy is low because you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then that one's like gotta try to like it's so much of a balance. This is something I've been like talking to some of my friends about, and I'm not fully sure about it, but I'm not sure I quite subscribe to consistency as much as balance. For me, there's many things I want to do. So it's about finding the balance for myself. If I haven't worked on music in a while, I want to work on music. If I haven't written in a while, I feel like I need to write. If I haven't done jiu-jitsu, same thing. And so I may not do all these things, even like working out or something every day, but like that, then I kind of operate on my feelings. And honestly, I don't know, like this to me is also very interesting, right? Like this whole, I guess, battle. I do think there's like a social cultural war between like more or less Puritanism and hedonism. Puritanism being like the Puritan work ethic, like you must work and you must love it. And then hedonism being like the pursuit of pleasure. And so I guess I get caught up in that. But then like when I try to really tap into like how I feel like that connects me as a human being to like, how am I feeling? Like, whoa, what are my emotions about this certain thing? And if they're off, like what can I do to try to help that? And so I don't feel like we were talking about like the repression of your feelings. It's like, yeah, there are certain things you have to do, but understand why you're doing them and how they make you feel. And usually working out, going to work, doing jiu-jitsu, working on my music, writing, make me feel better. So I'm going to pursue those things. But I don't want to pursue them for the sake of pursuing them at the cost of how I'm feeling, I think. And then it's like, but then I don't want to be like overly invested into how I'm feeling. Because if I'm in that downturn and I'm like feeling bad, I'm going to do things that
make yourself feel worse.
Yeah. Which is also the other battle of that.
Well, I that is an interesting point. Like, I think maybe like the hedonistic approach isn't the right thing, or maybe like I think our culture puts too much emphasis on happiness or like contentment. Maybe like we weren't designed to be happy. Like if happiness is the highest feeling that you're like constantly pursuing, like at what point in history where everyone just like, ecstatic or in ecstasy all the time? Like if you're just always trying to be happy or content, maybe you just should be pursuing like, I don't know, like progress or something like that. Maybe like betterment, like just trying to get better at certain things.
The thing though, I feel like is like sometimes I do pursue happiness, but the things I pursue, even according to how I feel and what I want to pursue, is not essentially happiness. What I mean is like, if I'm pursuing the things I want to pursue, that I am making progress in, like, let's say, jiu-jitsu and music. Happiness is like a byproduct. but it's not the direct end in itself. For me, it's like doing jiu-jitsu and improving and making music or something like that is what I want to do. And then it just so happens that I feel
get happy from it.
I get happy from it.
Yeah, I think that's the type of thought to go after, or the type of pursuit where it's like happiness is the byproduct. If you think like just happiness or just feel good, it's like drugs are the easiest way to do that, you know?
Which, and this is another thing. I do think everything, philosophically speaking, everything is a drug. Caffeine.
Yeah. Food,
activities. Maybe
it's about finding the good drugs.
Yeah, definitely. Everything can give you like a serotonin release. And
but some of it like takes a little bit more effort to get that serotonin release. I think that's a key component in it. The stuff that takes no effort to get that serotonin release is not as good as the stuff that takes immense effort to get that serotonin release.
Yeah, like jiu-jitsu, in some sense, is like a drug. I mean, it's tough. And like, I don't know, like it's kind of almost debatable. It's like, does jiu-jitsu make you happy? A lot of people would be like, yeah, of course. But in the midst of it, it's tough. You're sweating. You're like trying to go so hard. And it's like that. You're not like happy per se in that moment. But then you do feel happy, right?
Yeah. It's like, especially at the very beginning, like if you remember the very first time you get mounted, it's like you want to tap just because it feels so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that's a submission.
Yeah, the tap to pressure.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't know, you kind of just go deeper into it. And then it's like, damn, like the thing, right? It's like if you pursue jiu-jitsu super hard, I feel like at least for me, there's just been moments where like it's not fun and I'm not happy and I don't like what I'm doing with my life because it's just, I don't know. I've had times, honestly, where I've been driving to jiu-jitsu and just crying because I've just been like, fuck.
Just don't want to do it.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know.
What do you think that is?
I think it was a pursuit of jiu-jitsu for the wrong reasons. I think at those moments in that time, my reason for pursuing jiu-jitsu was not my own. I think I was trying to like, I guess maybe prove something, right? But
prove that you're tough or prove that.
Yeah. And not accepting where I was actually and where I've been and what I am. I think jiu-jitsu, while sticking to it, has made me accept many things. And that I'm not who I thought I was. Which has been like a beautiful, I don't know, like chapter in my life. And like I guess that's really what it is, right? Like for all of us on this journey, it's about our lives and how we're living it. Like I really like the music producer Elenium, and he said success to me is living the life you want to live. And
nice, yeah. Earl Nightingale, I think, says like success is, he defines it as like the constant pursuit of a worthy goal.
Yeah, and I think for me, just pursuing jiu-jitsu in that sense has been much more fulfilling than like those other goals. And everything too. Like you like my friend Angel with music, he's like, bro, you gotta put everything into it and not expect anything in return.
Yeah.
And I think approaching jiu-jitsu in a similar manner has really helped me just relieve myself of like any expectations of like titles, goals, awards, and recognizing that they're not going to make me happy. Like one of my goals, honestly, is before I even started jiu-jitsu was to get like a black belt in 10th Planet, but a black belt. and then like just a month ago, I was hanging out with a professor who became a good friend of mine, and we were talking about like PhDs, and he's taught philosophy at Cambridge, and he's like, getting your PhD won't make you happy. And I think the closer I get on my jiu-jitsu journey to like these next belts, it's not what's going to make me happy. It's this moment, this journey, living my life, doing what I want to do and in the way of how I want to do it, and it's not even, again, right, like we said, like it's not about pursuing happiness, but it's going to be happiness is going to be a byproduct, and it will be most experienced by living how I want to live. Jiu-Jitsu directly isn't making me happy. Music directly isn't making me happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something I feel like I need to do and want to do. And then it will help me be the happiest, I guess.
It's like how they talk about like it's not the destination, it's the journey. Totally is. Yeah, each belt is like not that exciting.
Yeah.
You know, like, or like in my real estate career too, it's like, you know, I'll escrow these big deals and I think like I'm going to get this big check or something. And like, you think like that's going to make you happy. But the actual like getting of it is so anticlimactic, you know, it's like the pursuit that is exciting.
Definitely. And it just feels that way. It's like if we removed belts or something, it's like, can you accept that you're just not going to get that belt? And I think like, yeah, like being free from that is it's freeing in a sense. It's like, oh, so like what separates a white belt from a black belt then? And if you remove the belt, then it's literally not the belt. It's just someone's, I guess, literacy and how they do their jiu-jitsu, how they live their life. Like, I love using the belt analogy for like everything, right? Like music, maybe I'm a blue belt, but really it's like, well, what does a black belt in this field look like? How do they go about what they do? And
Looks like Lizzo.
Yeah.
That's the black belt in music. Black belt in eating, maybe. No.
And I guess
Her face.
I guess that's like how I want to approach my jiu-jitsu. It's just like, what is the black belt version Matty in jiu-jitsu look like? And let me strive for that. And then so if the belt comes, if it doesn't come,
Yeah.
amazing. But like the jiu-jitsu is always changing.
For sure. Also, too, there's plenty of shitty black belts out there. Like, there's plenty of black belts who are not good at jiu-jitsu. You know, and then there's black belts who are some of the best in the world. There's fucking purple belts who are the best in the world, or blue belts. Like when what's his face from Art of Jiu-Jitsu like won trials at like 16 years old. He was a blue belt and won. So the belt means like not a whole ton. It means like what it means is your skill level.
Yeah.
What's important.
And it's hard to understand, like, especially for like newer people to jiu-jitsu, where they do think like the belt represents something, and like it's like black belts or your coaches who will constantly say like it's all about your own journey. And it's hard to understand that, but that's the truth. Is like
this crazy fucking cat. She's always making her guest appearance. She was just fucking something up for downstairs for the past like 20 minutes.
She was playing with her toy.
That's what it was?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
wow.
Whatever we gave her today is not, I feel
Not
like
working.
she's on one. Yeah.
She's a psychopath right now. Usually she is. So this
She's
little,
really cool.
I've been trying to drug her lately for
We
for
don't drug our
podcasts.
cat.
Because she sometimes won't just shut the fuck up. Actually, when Steele was here, she would just meowed, I think, literally for an hour and a half straight. Just like her loudest, like, "Ah!" Not even like a gentle one.
she had something to
She
say.
has a calming collar on right now.
Yeah, it's a calming collar, and then it's like these treats that I think have like melatonin in them or something that I'll give her.
Yeah, so like a blue belt can beat a black belt, and a lot of people, like even my friend who has done like a class or two, it's just like, so like if you start beating a bunch of brown belts, does that mean you get your brown belt? And it's like, no. It's just like that's not how it goes with jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
which is cool, but I guess I don't know, like to your point of like black belts. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, just like the life cycle of a person, like the older they get, the less capable they're gonna be. So like literally your ability to do jiu-jitsu should not represent like, I guess, that rank to some extent.
Well, I mean, I think it's just you'll have to pursue different ways of doing jiu-jitsu. If your game is all explosion as you get older, that's just gonna not. It can't be your game forever. You know, there's certain guys that are older that are like some of the toughest roles that I've ever rolled with. You know, like my buddy Eric Platt. I think he's like mid-40s right now. I hope I'm not fucking that up. He's like 30. But he like from almost my entire, I mean, I haven't rolled with him in a long time. I think he's been injured, but like almost my entire career, he's been like the only guy that would just work me every single class at, you know, at his age. And his game is not explosive whatsoever. It's very much just like very technical. And then there's this guy that we call the FBI guy who like would train at this gym in Peoria that like was mid 40s as well. That was, and also probably 145 pounds. That was so fucking technical that like just super tough. This psycho cat. Jeez, just relax.
Jeez is cool.
Just gonna keep it right here.
Well, I do think like, you don't have to roll, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I think you do have to roll to get better.
I mean, yeah, but I'm saying like if you're, a Danaher type who's like taking that
that's
role
an important thing. Yeah.
of becoming a teacher.
An interesting point.
You know what I mean? Like Danaher's not rolling.
He hasn't rolled in years, I don't think.
Right?
He's got like 2 fucked up hips.
Yeah.
How is he the best? Or how does he know so much? How
Well-
did he learn so much?
He was teaching philosophy at like Columbia or something
Yeah.
like that. So he's like very intelligent and just approached jiu-jitsu in that philosophical manner.
Yeah.
But
Really cool approach to jiu-jitsu.
Definitely.
I think he's like revolutionized the sport with his students.
yeah, so my former coach Ramey, I mean, he's still, when I see him, I'm not training with him at the moment, but Ramey was started under Danaher in New York and then went to HQ in LA with Eddie. And so I feel like definitely some of his jiu-jitsu has rubbed off. But like I don't know, like once you hang up like those competitive aspirations, if you're not gonna roll, like I feel like that shouldn't disqualify you from like,
No.
yeah,
Like you can stay in jiu-jitsu forever.
yeah. That's one of the really cool things. It's like,
Although, like, I don't think you could ever be a blue belt and never roll and, like, eventually get your black belt. I mean, Eddie said it actually at one point that, like, maybe some people just shouldn't get black belts. Maybe, like, certain people just don't ever reach that level. Like, if we had that sort of stringency on the belt giving, maybe that'd be good.
yeah, I don't know, like, cause like if I just picture like I don't know, my grandma, you know what I mean, or like a grandma coming in
Yeah.
and she's like,
Could she eventually get her black belt?
right? Like if she's obviously, very
If she
fragile.
can't beat the 20-year-old blue belt wrestler, then she's not getting shit. She's not getting a stripe.
Right, and I don't know, like what would someone do if she was like a student? Like how would a coach approach?
No, I think it is important to have different goals for each people. Like that's what Issa does. Like it depends on your particular goals. If you're just a casual, hobbyist, he's gonna have a different set of standards for you than someone who he believes is gonna be very successful or can be very successful in competition. You're just gonna have a different set of standards. You're gonna get stripes earlier. You'll probably get your belt earlier. For someone who's a competitor and maybe he sees the potential for greatness, then he's gonna be much more stringent on what he gives you.
Yeah, you're making me realize because like I don't know, like
actually, my grandma couldn't be that good.
for myself, I don't know, I've just always felt like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And in the competitive circuit, I think if I'm dabbling with it, I might as well like try to compete with like on the best scale that I can, just to like, I guess see what I can do and like. So I'm gonna do the ADCC Open next weekend.
Nice.
And it's just like the best, even trials. I've never done trials, and like I've always just, I don't know, like at that time, right when I was like crying going to jiu-jitsu, it was just because like I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I think just accepting that like, hey, I might as well just like give it a shot to do my best.
Yeah.
And then like let everything fall where it may. But at least giving it a shot is like probably the best thing I can do.
Yeah. And taking it seriously too. I know like, winning and losing isn't that important, but you need to like give yourself like allow yourself to try your hardest, you know, and like really like be mad if you lose, you know, like Ryan Hall said something once where it's like, fucking prepare well and try your absolute best. If you think you're just going to show up because like, hey, I'm just giving it a go, and if I lose, it's not that big a deal, you're giving yourself an out. You know, you're not holding yourself to the highest standard that you could. And if you do lose, it really is not that big a deal. But if you fucking go into it with that mentality of like, you know, whatever happens, happens. It's like you're giving yourself an out before it even happens. You need to go in and like, you know, the goal is to win and absolutely try to get there.
Yeah, I'm for sure that guy who's like, hey, whatever.
Whatever happens, happens.
But I mean, I think, again, like, for me, music and jiu-jitsu are so intertwined in an unbelievable way, where it's like, if I'm working on music, how do I feel about it is something I'm trying to, like, be more aware and conscious of. Is like, do I think this is good? Is this the best I could do? And I want my jiu-jitsu to be similar, where it's like it's okay to lose, but how do I feel about how I went in and how
like,
I
did you give your best effort?
Yeah. And I want to like hone in on that of like, okay, well, what's it going to take for me to like reach my ability to give my best effort, and like, can I do that? And then like, did I do that? And it's just like, there's obviously so many things indefinitely to work on and improve on, but I guess just like trying to be in that energy is like, I don't know. Yeah. It's like, why not? Unless you have like a good, right? Like, I don't know. Like if you're like, I don't know. If you really just, again, it's just jiu-jitsu is so weird where it's like anyone can listen and like not want to do jiu-jitsu, which is fine. But it's like, what do you want to do with your life? Do you want to try to go hard in these things? And I feel like I do at least want to like try. I don't want to be like, fuck. Like I might as well just like say fuck it and like go in on like everything like that I want to do.
Yeah, be all in. Do you have a like? What do you do day to day? Is it music? Like, do you have a job outside of music and jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I work part-time like Monday through Friday, and then I try to work on music, and then like just train jiu-jitsu in the evening and work out in between or afterwards.
What do you do part time?
I'm like managing a property where I live, so it's kind of giving me the freedom to like move out here, live on my own, do the things I want to do.
Nice. Like an apartment complex or something? Here's the property manager.
Yeah.
Anytime shit goes bad, they're like, what the fuck, Matty?
Yes. Yeah.
Fix this shit. There's a leak over here.
Yeah, that's
the property
me.
managers here are the absolute worst.
Yeah, I try to be good. I've been getting some good compliments.
Good reviews.
Yeah, I think.
Nice. It's like kind of what you said earlier, like how you do one thing is how you do everything. You got to have good service in your day-to-day work. Even if it's not what you want to do in your end goal, you got to do that well. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're shitty in that, you're going to be shitty in other stuff.
And some of my best favorite compliments are people like, you're so cool. Like, you're so...
like, yeah, at your work, you're saying? Yeah. You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're providing a service. And actually that professor who taught philosophy at Cambridge, like, it was funny because he'd be like, we'd actually go out like for drinks. And this was like last month in DC we met. I was doing like a program out there. I'm also working right now like on my PhD. So working part-time, trying to do my research. But he's like, no more drinks. Like, I got to create value in the morning. And he would like, right. But like that expression, he would say it. And it was kind of funny.
That is cool. No more drinks. I got to create value in the morning.
Yeah. Well, that expression of like, I got to create some value is like, wow, like I'm trying to approach my work and like even my music and my jiu-jitsu of like creating value. Like how can I make this of value to someone else?
Yeah, that's really interesting. You know, I forget who said it, but there's like a quote that like the more people that benefit from your existence, the more successful you'll be. You know, if you're just like, if you think of like the most rich people in the world, like, you know, do you have an Amazon account?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably all of us have an Amazon account, and so that guy is fucking crazy rich. You know, you just go down the street, probably 90% plus people like use Amazon, you know, weekly, monthly, or annually is probably the least common. It just the entire population of people are benefiting from this guy's idea, so he makes a ton of money. You know?
Yeah, I think for music, it was definitely an outlet at first to like release these pent up emotions type shit. But now it's like, oh, how can I create value in my music? Like, how can I make something sound really cool?
Maybe like just thinking about your own emotions and stuff, it's almost too selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, at least let me try to like transform them to like make it into like a hook.
Yeah.
And something cool.
Yeah.
Like, or like make it sound really cool with like the vocal effects and like chops and ad-libs and all this stuff. And like jiu-jitsu approaching it as a white belt, it's like, oh, like I want to do this for myself because it's super cool, or I want to like get in shape, or I want to like release and use it like a therapeutic sense. And then the more you get into it, like I guess even competing, it's like, how can I make my jiu-jitsu of value for someone else? Like whether they see it. I like one of my favorite compliments from a match I got, and I've heard it a couple times, is like, oh, like that was like my favorite match of the night. Or like people would just be like, your jiu-jitsu is really cool. Like that's my favorite. I don't care if I win or lose, but like I just want to have like
Sick
cool
jiu-jitsu.
sick jiu-jitsu. And I don't know, I've had coaches and teammates who are like, you know, no, like be effective, like don't worry about the flashy stuff. But for me, it's like, no. It's like, forget being effective. Like, let me just try to do the coolest shit, because that is what I want to create. That's what I want to produce, is cool jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like, I think, and I don't know, like there's different areas.
It's fun from the spectator's point of view.
Of course,
When
yeah.
people are just getting after
Like
it.
that's what I like to see.
Just see like flashy shit.
Yeah, like it's cool if someone's
It's got to be tempered with good technique as well.
of course,
Also,
of
It's gotta
course,
be both.
of course.
Yeah.
It's cool
You
to
can have
see
flashy,
like,
good technique.
yeah, it's cool to see the best in the world, but like seeing someone do something like really cool in a really good way is like, wow, like that. I don't know. I like that. That's what draws me to it. Like rubber guard may not be the most effective thing, but it's super cool. And when it's done well, it can be very effective. Or like even like a sick arm drag, really anything, like even a rear naked choke. If you can make it like how, I mean, I don't want to like dismiss technique at all or effectiveness at all, but like there's something about if you do it your way authentically, it will be cool. Then if you try to do it like someone else's way and it's inauthentic, even if it's like more effective. Maybe not. That's maybe really debatable.
Yeah. Maybe for like a takedown or something. For rear naked choke, I feel like it's like a set limited way that to strangle someone.
Yeah, there is, but in the strangle,
If you could like flex while you're doing it.
well,
Yeah, you little
I guess
bitch.
if you can
Go to sleep.
if you can like lock it in to where it's like tight and like it's a perfect fit. You know what I mean? Like everyone's neck, I guess, is a little bit different, or the angle's a little bit different. So if you can get into that perfect position and execute it perfectly, that to me is like really cool. Rather than just like kind of doing it that's like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be a hater or anything. I'm just, to me, it feels way cooler if the technique is more on point. Because then I guess it's like a better expression of the technique. It's a better expression of yourself. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like on that tangent, but what do you think?
I don't know. I like fucking. I think it's important to be flashy, and I think it's important to be like you know, good basics as well. Too.
Definitely.
I love a good flying triangle, but I also love like a good knee cut pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're competing. You just competed last night. You're competing next weekend as well. Do you usually keep a pretty good like competitive schedule?
I want to. I definitely want to. Because for me, like, at this point, I don't know, my jiu-jitsu's evolved, and like I want to compete more. And I feel like I do learn and improve a lot from competing, as well as just training. But like that competing,
you can learn like it's a like a extreme exposure into like something you're majorly lacking every time if you do lose.
It pushes me. Like it pushes me to like have something that I'm looking forward to and like gives me more structure in my life.
Got to keep your diet strict.
I gotta train because I got the competition.
Yeah.
And I could train regardless of having a competition coming up, but like it's just fun to compete.
Yeah, it is for sure. We were talking about maybe doing this yesterday before your match, like, and have a little bit of pre-game mindset. So what now, like you've got the post-match clarity. What's
post-match?
like post-nut clarity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any takeaways from last night?
Definitely. And I think this is cool to like have the post-match perspective rather than the pre-match perspective. Because I think the pre-match perspective, like there's just moments throughout my day where I would just like think about it and like how the match was going to go. Like I really anxious and excited and my heart's beating and I'm just like chilling. And post-match, it was fun. You just go into that tunnel vision, I feel like, and I'm not as like clear or in control as I would like to be, or as I usually do train, where I can like really strategically look for my pins and look for, placements and positioning. In the competition, it's way more just like the adrenaline's going. Yeah. You're just go. And like, you're not controlling your speed. Your speed is like pedal to the floor. Like you're just going hard. And that can be good. It can also be detrimental. Like I got caught in an armbar and it was good. I tried to work the escape. I couldn't get the angle and he got my arm. So I had to tap. Had some good bites. I didn't commit to the bites. I got two
bites on the heel.
On the heel, and it's
captured the heel a couple times.
Yeah.
Should have went to Adrian's leg lock seminar yesterday.
I missed it.
Would have helped that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
He broke down the leg lock in an interesting way. He's like, there's 3 phases of leg lock. There's the entry, the heel exposure, and the braking mechanics. And like he's like each of those could be its own separate class. Yeah, and so that's an interesting part.
Absolutely. Like Raimi, who I got to again learn from, like Eddie's considered him formerly. I mean, leg locks have like grown exponentially in like the knowledge and like the availability of it. But Raimi was like considered like the leg lock master of 10th Planet. So like we really dove deep into the his whole Ashigarami system. Yeah. Again, he came from Danaher, so it's like very much DDS inspired esque. And I loved it. And even like my first class at 10th Planet, it was like a straight ankle lock from Donna. And I mean, yeah, like the post-match clarity is just like, this is how it went. This is where I messed up and can improve on. And
maybe it's about maintaining the heel more.
Yeah.
Because if you're able to capture, that should like take that home from there.
I really was like I wasn't lined up on his knee. So the bite was decent, but the knee was kind of out of place and allowed, it wasn't like fully connected to my body. So he was able to like slip it. And it was good defense too. But I don't know.
Tough opponent as well. That guy's been training a long time.
Yeah, he was like in the match. He's like, "You're gonna have to break it."
He said that.
He said that. Yeah,
that's at like when you went against Brandom too. I think you had a bite on his heel, and he's like, "Break it, break it, break it."
Damn it, they
Brandom's
know.
a psycho too.
Yeah,
he'll let you break it. You'll have to.
They know I don't want to break it.
Yeah,
I didn't say
you
that.
gotta break it.
That's my weakness.
Especially if that guy's telling you to break it. If he's telling you to break it, you break that shit.
I don't want to break it.
You take that home. Yeah.
I've definitely had matches where I would get a bite and you hear like the of like the ankle or the heel, and it's just like, damn, bro, like
gotta do that until boy taps. What are the most, or maybe just practice your braking mechanics more too, because like you can have a bite on the heel and be unable to break the leg.
Yeah, that's how it was, and then he was able to get out. So got to work on that. Looking forward to this week and next competition. Just, I don't know, train hard, keep doing my thing, working out.
What weight are you doing?
83 kilos.
Nice. Which is like 182 pounds, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. So it'll be fun. Just trying to like, I don't know. I mean, it's the advanced division, so it's like, you know what I mean? Like Kyle Chambers, Andy Varela type dudes walking through that scene, as well as like some other purples and browns and stuff like that. So it's the best competition I can do right now.
Yeah.
And just really like continuously testing myself and like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not trying to dwell, but so many matches in my the past year, I guess, I've just been loss on loss on loss. And it's all just, everything's just progress. Like, it's just continuously pointing out to me my, you know, things I need to work on and improve on. And I will, and they'll improve, and then there'll be other things. And so that's the indefinite
Never
journey.
ending.
Never ending. You can always improve. And there's
Never
always
fucking
going to be
ending.
someone who's better than you. So I try like to not talk shit just in that aspect. It's like, why do I need to? And also just like, again, like this is the aesthetic of jiu-jitsu and even the aesthetic of music, of like presenting yourself a certain way, talking shit. It's like, I don't know. I'm here for the community aspect. I want to like actually like, in that Mikey Musumeci sense, like meet cool people. And if you want to talk shit on me, I don't think it's personal. I think it's a lot of times just projection. I don't think people mean a lot of what they say. But then that's on you. And you lost out on like maybe a cool friend.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's not even I don't know. It's just like having compassion. You don't know who's gone through what.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to learn.
Nice. Yeah. And just constantly trying to get better. One thing you said was that like there's always going to be someone better than you. There's a funny audio on Instagram that's I think CT Fletcher, and he's like, my mom said there's always gonna be someone bigger and better than you, and he's like, no, mama, someone's got to be number one.
Yeah.
You know, you can fucking keep working and working and working to try to get better. So like you know, at the end of the day, there is someone who's the best, but that guy takes weirdo cowboy pics in his in his like Texas hat and stuff.
I mean, let me ask you this. Even if you could be number one, would you really want to be?
Yes.
I think it's again like it's
I think everyone can too. It's just like it's how much time you're dedicating to the sport. I think like I don't have any professional aspirational goals to do it, and so maybe that's you know, my own like way out or something as to why I'm not, you know, where I want to be. But like yeah, I mean I think it's much more to do with work ethic and time spent investing in bettering yourself than it has to do with anyone's particular skills. You know, there's guys who are incredibly skilled but won't put in the work that are going to lose to the guys that are less skilled but are fucking relentless. It goes back to like that, what I was saying about the guy that just picks up the phone. He can be an absolute idiot. Like when I very first started, there's guys who are very wealthy around me that are doing like what I was trying to do, you know? And like I would look at some of them, I'm like, if this fucking mouth breather can do it, then I can do it for sure. You know, it's just the fact that he had spent more time in doing it, you know? So,
but like then my question is like, do you want to put that time into what it takes to be like the best at anything?
I'm trying.
I mean, I just feel like personally speaking for myself, there's these other things I want to do that like, and maybe this is my cop out, that it will make it, you know, unsupportive of being like the best at these other things or this one thing.
You'd rather be like pretty good at a bunch of things than maybe like all the time spent in this one particular thing.
Yeah. Cause it gives my life so much more dimension, and I really do enjoy that like eclectic type of life where I'm able to like work on my music, I'm able to work on my jiu-jitsu, I'm able to like do some work, and I'm able to do my research. And these things are all super like important to me, and I want to have them in my life. And for me to just go all in on one of them at the expense of all these other things, it's too costly. I don't want to make that.
Maybe that's good. Maybe it's good to have balance. I think it is good just to like listen to yourself on like what feels best for you. I felt that like maybe like people overemphasize balance on your day-to-day routine when it should be emphasized on maybe like a longer scale. Like work, for instance, like people don't want to, they want to have like this work play balance, but maybe the balance should be in like a lifespan. And maybe you spend your early 20s working your ass off. So by the time that you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s, you still don't have to have a fucking 9-to-5 job and you have to like report to someone and you have to do all these things. Maybe it's about like putting all this effort in like in a one particular part of your life to have balance throughout the entirety of your life.
Yeah. I mean, even like when I was in college and I quit baseball to pursue jiu-jitsu.
You were in baseball?
Yeah, I played baseball.
In college?
Yeah.
Wow, you were pretty good then?
Yeah.
What level school? What do they call it? Like
division.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I was at a Division 3.
Okay.
But
college, like being able to make it to there still is.
Yeah. I mean, if I could flex a little bit, I had some D1 offers, but
oh really? Nice.
But I went Division 3 so I could play outfield, hit, and pitch. Whereas like these other offers were just a pitch. And to me, like hitting is the
Just
best
a
part
pitch?
of baseball. Yeah. So I was like a lefty pitcher, and like lefties are kind of like
rare.
valuable in baseball. Yeah. But then I was like, so I went to Occidental College in Eagle Rock, which was next to Pasadena. And right when I got there, 10th Planet Pasadena opened up, and I was like, oh, that's amazing, because I found out that I wanted to do jiu-jitsu after baseball, because baseball, there's more of a lifespan than in jiu-jitsu.
For sure.
And so then after my junior year, I quit and I started doing jiu-jitsu. But at my college, my mentor, Professor Darren Jurgen, was like, great, like you're like basically going through a divorce. You're giving up something you love to find and pursue something else that you love. And then he's like, do it for 10 years and then drop it completely. And when he said that, I was like, what? Like, just drop jiu-jitsu. Like, you don't know how much I like it.
Huh.
But like, in that aspect, there's something to that where it's like, damn, like, I don't know, like I'm discovering these new things. Like he taught me economics. I didn't know I liked economics until he taught me. And then jiu-jitsu, I didn't know really what jiu-jitsu was till like I was taught it, and it's amazing. And like now music, like I'm getting taught music, and it's also a study you could spend the rest of your life working on and improving and learning about. And so I don't know what I'll discover in the future, but like, damn, like, yeah, I don't know. I think like my friend, again, Angel, is like, we were talking about music. So we were going climbing. I met him at the climbing gym, and we would go climbing and then like make beats. And like, we were just talking about like making music, and like, and the question becomes like, for so many people of like, okay, you're doing this with your life, and then what? And then what? And then what? And like, the further you go, it's like, what do you really want to do? And for me, it was just like, fuck it. Like, let's just try to be free in the spiritual sense of like, free myself from these like anxieties and perceptions of what other people think about me. And so these all have been just like little practices of trying to like try
Learn
something new to free myself. Like even like producing music was like challenging, because I was thinking like, what's it gonna sound like? Is it gonna sound bad? What are people gonna think? And then trying to sing, having no training at all in singing, but then just seeing my friends do it and being like, yeah, like let me give it a shot. I was like psychologically paralyzed for a year, because I'm like, how's it gonna sound?
Yeah,
it's gonna sound so
suck
bad.
At it. Yeah,
and you have to just accept that, and you have to just go through it, and just not give up. Because shout out Dash, he's like, the easiest thing to do is quit. And it's like, do you want to just quit, or do you want to try to like, he said, be a soldier in the trenches of culture.
Nice.
And I fuck with that, and just like trying to just go hard on whatever it is you want to do. Like they don't do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And like not everyone has to do jiu-jitsu, I think. And I think just what they do is they found their freedom, and like, I don't know, I guess I'm trying to like, I'm on my journey of finding my freedom.
Yeah.
And we're all kind of like in this community.
Well, maybe like throughout this, you'll find something that you want to pursue for a lifetime. You know? And not quit after 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right, it's like I can't decide now what I want to do 10 years from now. But like right now, I want to do what I'm doing and
Nice.
just fucking fuck it and just there's no like one way I believe too. Like you know what I mean? Like if I didn't have music or my reading and research, I don't know if I'd be doing jiu-jitsu, honestly. Because I think these things give my life so much meaning and like stability. Like if I was just dedicated to this one thing, sure, maybe I'd be better than what I'm currently at. But I don't know if I'd be like the same person at all.
And maybe if that doesn't make you as happy, then it isn't what you should do.
Yeah.
Or not as satisfied.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
It's good to be like multifaceted.
yeah, like you could be the best curler in the world. Like you can be an Olympic champion curler, but it's like,
What a stupid sport to be good at.
you know what I mean? It's like you can be number one, but like, is that what's gonna make you happy? Like, if you think it's stupid, what's it doing for you?
Yeah.
And I think
But
that's
at the same time, you could be like the number one basketball player in the world and just in that particular realm. And that's a pretty sick thing to pursue your whole life.
sure.
You could
It's
be the best football quarterback in the world and get absolutely dunked on by everyone in the roast.
yeah, but I think again, it's like
I
a
don't know if
matter
you
of
watched the Tom Brady roast or not.
I didn't see it. But I think that's
pretty funny.
That's the thing. It's like it's a matter of perspective. It's sick to be the best at these things. But if you don't think it's sick, then is it really sick? It's like if I'm like someone who's not, you know, of the culture of watching basketball or football, I may not give a shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's just how many things are. It's like there's
for
so
sure.
many different things you can do. in
Yeah,
life.
I think it would be cool to be the best basketball player, but at the same time, like basketball could become illegal tomorrow, and I could fucking care less.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, basketball's cool, but like you got to pursue the stuff that you like.
Yeah, and I think coming back to jiu-jitsu, that's why I look at jiu-jitsu as more of like an art. Like I can't look at like paintings. I don't know how I get so inspired, but like when I watch the process of painters, it like the way they go and like the layers and colors and stuff, it like gives me so much inspiration for music. But also jiu-jitsu. It's like the way I look at jiu-jitsu is like you're making a painting on a canvas. You can make anything you want. I cannot tell you between two paintings which one's better. It's like almost subjective to the sense of like which one do you think is cooler and why. And that's why it's like the comparative aspect is like it's so temporal. You know what I mean? But the jiu-jitsu, how someone does jiu-jitsu, if it's like filmed, let's say, that match or that movement or like the way they did that, like Marcelo, like those are like paintings. And I can't say Marcelo's paintings are like, you know what I mean? Like the best. There's no way for me to measure that. We can look at like these statistics of who he beat. But to me, it's more like this is like a beautiful work of art. And I want to just see like the best works of art.
Yeah, but then there's also like objective reality to like something that's better or worse, even in art.
Sure.
Like you could have a 3-year-old draw something and it looks like shit, and then you could have like look at a Picasso and then like there's probably some objective, you know, determination on what's better or worse.
I mean, I just think like, you know what I mean? Like Hickson was the best, but now we have other people who are better. And
Yeah.
it's like, I think eventually there's always just going to be someone like maybe right now we have someone who's number one. Someone in the future is going to come be number one.
Maybe this year.
Sure.
Fucking Gordon loses.
I mean,
Didn't have a lot of tummy issues lately.
yeah, I mean, you know, it's just like there's always going to be someone like even if I was the best, I would like to think that I would be able to accept that it's not indefinite. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I would be like, no. I'm staying number one forever. But yeah, that's how I like to look at it, I guess.
Nice. Well, brother, dude, thank you for coming on. We've been doing about like hour 40 here. We've got like Mother's Day plans. Shout out, happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
All the moms out there.
All the shout outs to all the moms and everyone.
Awesome.
Joey, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate it.